Plaintiff Aisha Murray started dating the defendant when she was 16 and he was 21, and she ended up pregnant. Aisha says after their son was born 12 years ago, the defendant became verbally and physically abusive and was in and out of jail. Aisha's suing her ex for unpaid child support. Defendant Devon Murphy insists he never abused Aisha and says she cheated on him throughout their relationship. Devon says because of Aisha's infidelity, he questions whether or not he fathered her son, so he petitioned the court for a paternity test. He's countersuing for slander and harassment.
All right, state your case.
Devon is the father of my 12-year-old, soon-to-be 13-year-old son, Zakir. I met him in '98. I was 16. He was about 21. We got close really, really quick. I wound up moving in with him and his family. So it's really no shock that I wound up pregnant not too long after that. Everybody was happy. He was happy about it. I was happy about it. His family was happy about it. After I had my son, his true colors started shining through. He became controlling, physically abusive, verbally abusive. For instance, I had my son in October. I went back to work, but I didn't really go out as much. So New Year's Eve came up. A friend of mine was having a New Year's Eve party. So I went to the party. Mr. Murphy showed up. My girlfriend came running to the back like, you know, your baby father looking for you, your baby father looking for you. And he came down here 3 cars deep. I didn't really think much of it, but before I stepped 2 feet out of the door, Mr. Murphy grabbed me by my hair and dragged me down the steps. Everybody seen what was going on. They ran over there, they broke the situation up. So after that situation, there was another situation where a friend of his liked me, and he used to frequent my job. I was a waitress at the time. Mr. Murphy found out about it. When he found out about it, he ripped up all my work clothes.
What would he do when he frequent your workplace?
I was a waitress, so he'd come there to buy food.
I know, but what would he do to indicate
he'd try to get my phone number, try to take me out, things like that.
What would you say?
I told him no.
But you never told him?
No.
He was his friend, right?
Exactly, but I figured since I declined his advances, I did what I was supposed to do.
How did he find out?
I don't know.
Okay.
He found out a lot. If I walked to the corner store, people used to call him and tell him I seen your baby mother walking to the store. I don't understand how he used to be able to find out half the stuff he found out.
Give me some background on you all's relationship.
I met Miss Aisha Murray back in 1998. Everything was good, you know. She cheated, but since it was new, since the relationship was fairly new, I swept it under the rug.
You admit to cheating?
No, I never cheated.
Okay, go ahead.
She went out on a date with a guy, and her cousin told me that she went on a date with a guy. And I went to the house. I waited on her at her cousin's house. She came home. You remember this. She came home, and I'm like, where you was at? She was like, I was out with my cousin. I said, call your cousin on the phone. She gets the phone, and fake calls her cousin.
How do you know it was fake?
I was right there. I'm sitting right next to her. I said, let me see the phone. Give me the number. She's like, no, she ain't home. She hung up the phone. I was like, all right, give me the number. That's when she came to me and was like, nah, man, I did go out on a date.
You don't remember this?
You remember that?
Hold on.
I had met him a week before that.
No, I say, do you remember doing what he said?
I remember that.
I asked you about when you met him.
Oh, I remember that situation.
Okay, well, if you met him 1 week before, that was quick. You meet a man 1 week before, and then you going out with him 1 week later, and you got a man here.
He wasn't my man yet. I just met him.
Oh, okay. The first week you met him, you lied to him about another man. Now, anything else you want to tell me about this relationship before we get to the child support she's suing you about?
So after a while, she was living with me. We was living together, whatever. You know what I mean? And I wasn't beating on her or nothing. That's
what I was about to ask you next.
She just making it up. I wasn't beating on her.
True.
That incident at the party doesn't sound like she made it up. You coming there grabbing her by her hair.
If I did something like that at a party, somebody would have called the cops. Somebody, if it's at a party.
No, they do like she said. They might break it up.
They did. They broke it up.
That's what she said.
I'm not an abusive type person. I don't do that.
Your child support you're suing about. Tell me about that.
Once my son was born, since he's been born, he's been in and out of jail. That's his second home.
Your son? He's a baby.
No, he's been in and out of jail.
Okay.
Since my son's been born, he's been in and out of jail. That's his second home. He has a room with his name on it.
So were you in the street, man? What's up? Why you keep going to jail?
Yeah, I was in the street. In my past, I was in the street. I was rushing to try to take care of a lot of things. And at the same time, I had a motorcycle accident.
When was the last time you've been in prison?
I just came home last year.
How many years you been there?
10.
All for selling dope. Did you finish school?
I got GED.
All right. Did you go further with it?
I tried. I had jobs.
Right. Money wasn't fast enough.
It's just.
Yeah, you guys come home from prison.
I can't.
A lot of you guys from the dope game. That's why they go right back into prison, because there's no money like dope money.
Mm-hmm. No taxes.
Out on the street. No taxes, you're right. But it's big. They get the big money. You get $5,000-$10,000 a week, and then you come home and you tell them they're gonna get $400 a week.
That's rough.
And they say, well, let me just go and do what I used to do. I can't go from 5,000 to 400. Go ahead.
My son couldn't be here today because I didn't want him to miss school, but he did write a letter about how he feels about his father, and he also did a video expressing how he feels about his father in the situation.
I hope you didn't put him up to say nothing.
I didn't put him up to nothing. I told him to be honest.
How old is the child?
He's about to be 13 on the 26th.
Let's see the video.
That's what she do.
My name is Akeem Murphy, and I would like to say that my father is an irresponsible person. I do love him, but at the same time I don't, because he wasn't there most of my life. He was in jail, and he worried about himself most of the time. Yeah, I do want him to be in my life, but at the same time I don't, because he wasn't there most of the rest of the time, so what's the point?
You got anything to say about that? You say she puts him up.
That's something she coerced him to say. That's what she do. If he don't respect her, he don't even like her. And that's crazy.
Where's your video?
That's crazy. I don't have it.
Tell me how he owes you for child support. What years, months, or what have you?
Since he's been born. He's made 5 payments.
For 13 years.
13 years.
How many of those years was he out?
It's been about 6. He'll go to jail, come home for a year or 2, go to jail, come home for a year or 2, go to jail, come home for a year or 2.
It's
been about 6.
A year or 2.
I have some of his arrest records.
So she said I go home for a year or 2. She said I come home for a year or 2.
For non-payment of child support.
Okay.
But as soon as he comes home, he goes out there and sells his drugs. I'm not saying selling drugs is right.
But he should give some of the drug money to your son?
He goes out and he buys motorcycles and jewelry, posted on Facebook. He iced out, talking about some bird because his jewelry is so it shines in the dark.
Sir?
It don't make no
35.
sense.
You too old for that nonsense. Let me see.
But you're honest.
It's for these
He can't
kids
pay
in
me
their
$27
20s
a week,
wearing
but he
all
can go
this
buy
jewelry.
motorcycles and jewelry.
35. What did you?
She's a drama queen. She's just blowing it
No
up.
drama queen. I'm looking at these diamond watches, and then I'm looking at child support orders.
And motorcycles.
You know, and some guys in the dope game, that's all they think they can do. They've been failed by the schools, nothing but guns and drugs in their neighborhood. Okay, although I think there are some alternatives. Some feel there aren't, so they get in the street. But many that I know of, they take care of their kids.
I do
Even
that.
if they're in the street, they take care of their kids.
I do that. I pay child support.
So you don't owe anything?
Yes, I do owe.
How much you owe?
And
How much you owe?
I don't.
$4,480.
That's because I was in prison. I only owe that much because I was in prison.
No, actually, he owes more.
Yeah, but you
They
weren't
have
in
to do
prison
an
when you
audit.
flashing this around.
Yeah, but
you
I'm
weren't in
still-
prison when you buying motorcycles. That's my point, sir.
But I'm still-
Even
but-
when guys come home, and most of them have sense enough to stash some of the money for their child and their woman, so when they are gone and off the street, their woman and their child can survive. I don't advocate none of that. It's the wrong thing. I'd rather see you on welfare than to receive dope money for you and your child. But my point is, even those who think that that's all they can do, most of them at least take care of their children. $4,000 is your counterclaim for what? How does she owe you?
Because she been getting me arrested, and she keep calling police. She keep calling police like she keep harassing
About
me.
child support?
When I was paying, she still was doing it. They
You paid
coming
through
to
the
me.
court?
No, I went to child support. And
That's
it
my
was
point.
paying.
And so how could she have you locked up if you were paying?
First, she got me locked up for saying I hit her when I didn't. And you remember that?
No, they locked you up for a child support warrant.
But you ain't
Come on, sir. Talk to me. I'm looking at it.
I didn't
I'm
get
getting
no
away from
warrant.
this harassment and slander because you're not telling me anything.
I got it right here.
What do you have?
I got all the paperwork
Let's
right
see
here.
it, please. What is it?
It's going to show you right there that
Tell
she been
me.
harassing me and getting me locked up. This is I
You're a
keep having to pay
deadbeat dad
bills.
and always will be. My son hates your and he has every right to go back to the corner. Ain't nobody sweating that change. Child support will deal with you eventually. Take care, deadbeat.
Yeah.
She's mad at you, sir. You can take that harassment. Or that has destroyed you mentally. Do you go to the doctor now for emotional distress? You're in counseling. Doc, harassment is going to prison for 10 years. Who you kidding?
But I was paying, but that's what I'm saying. I was paying child support.
5
The only
payments.
reason why I owe so much is because I was incarcerated.
Right. That means
That's
you
the only
weren't
reason.
paying.
I can't pay if
So
I'm
what?
incarcerated.
You're out now. Don't you think you should pay when you get out?
I am paying.
No, you're
5
not. The
payments,
court
the last
says that
payment
you
was-
owe $4,000.
That's because I was locked up. That's the
I
only
know,
reason
but
why.
when you get home, you pay what you owe before you went in. What part don't you understand? You think you can go to prison and they say, hey, I ain't gonna never have to pay this child support. If I go to prison, I get off the hook. No, you don't get off the hook. You get on that hook time you come home. DNA, you want a DNA test. Why? You want to use that as the excuse? You want to
because-
use that as the latest excuse?
Because you
don't
was
believe
cheating.
it's your child?
Because she was cheating on me in the beginning.
Right, so you don't believe it's your child? Or you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
All right, do we have the results of the DNA test? This the first time you've become unsure? When did you first tell her you're unsure?
I've been going back and forth to jail, so it's I mean, if
I
it's
know,
my
but you
son,
can
I'm
tell
gonna take care
her
of my.
in jail, you can tell her I'm unsure. You can write a letter.
You know that.
When was the
She
first
just-
time he mentioned he was unsure?
When we was on our way here,
She just making a mockery of it.
She's
That's
making a
not true.
mockery of you. In jail, you can tell her I'm unsure. You can write a letter.
You know that.
When was the
She
first
just-
time he mentioned he was unsure?
when we was on our way here,
She's just making a mockery of it.
She's
That's
making a
not
mockery
true.
of you.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is true that you're the daddy, 99.9999%. Pay this young lady her child support. Are you working, sir?
Not right now. I have a rod and I got a rod and pins in my leg. It's hard for
you
me
can
to work.
stand outside on that corner
That's
for
why
6,
when
7
I was
hours a
working.
day with no
That's
problem.
why
Right, that's
when I
why
do work-
your knee is messed up standing out on that corner. $4,488 for you, ma'am. I don't have any more sympathy for you, man. You've been made prison your home, and then you think that when you're in prison, once you come out, you don't owe for the child support that the child needed. The child didn't go to prison and get 3 meals a day or
Yeah.
3 hots and a cot.
But-
Child didn't get that.
I mean-
You the one got it, so you still have to pay for what the child needs outside. Have a good day. Judging for the plaintiff.
It don't matter. It don't matter. Take that money.
Well, I appreciate it. It is old to me.
It ain't about nothing.
Well, why you ain't pay it then?
32 hours a week. Yeah, ain't about nothing.
Damn, but you can't pay it. That shit
did
is
pay
sad.